Hi, friends. So I wanted to talk about uh, something I noticed in the office, which I think applies to Japanese culture in general also, but it's the culture of neediness that I see both in the office and just in Japan in general. And what I mean by firstly, when I say neediness, I don't mean it in a negative way per se. I'm just saying as a matter of fact. And what I see is where there's people feel this need for appreciation. And I think appreciation and recognition. I think the reason that there's this neediness uh, is, especially I think in more older people, is due to the Japanese culture of humbleness and humility and putting yourself down. Um, and personally, I do appreciate this humility and humble uh, mentality where the first thing you do if you're complimented is to deny it, push it away, or credit the people around you for your accomplishments. And I think that's fantastic, especially that last part. And it also kind of keeps people, you know, not to it prevents people from having their heads inflated, I guess, to some extent. So I really do appreciate that culture and behavior and mentality, but sometimes I feel that uh, there is there are people missing out on it when I look around, and that creates this extra sensitivity and neediness for appreciation, recognition, and attention. And what I'm talking about, of course, applies to anywhere in the world, but in Japan, I feel that the culture especially kind of emphasizes it in a interesting, different way. Uh, and so I think there are three things about Japanese culture that has allowed this behavior mindset of humility and putting yourself down to be able to exist. And I think the first thing is uh, due to that behavior I mentioned in the beginning, where people give credit to everyone around them but themselves. And so if you have everyone giving each other credit but themselves, sooner or later you'll receive credit from everyone around you too. And so by having everyone do that, I think it allows that culture and behavior of putting yourself down and crediting others. Um, I think the second reason that this culture is able to be maintained is because of uh, the hierarchical culture where the title or label or prestige that is placed upon you and your name is valued so much. And and that title, I guess you could say, is an appreciation for your accomplishments or your everything you've done. So I think by having that in place, especially with hierarchy, where there's a lot of people with a lot of titles that seem to just be titles, but by having that, people kind of at least get to feel significant, um, and that maintains their need for appreciation because they are able to hold on to this title, which everyone else respects. And I think the third thing that kind of supports this culture of humble and humility without people kind of feeling left out is, I guess, the culture of seniority also, where, you know, having seniority and experience and age automatically kind of gives you power and significance. So, I mean, you can see this behavior anywhere in the world where you respect your elders, but I think that kind of also is like the final catch-all for anyone who missed out on being appreciated, or who missed out on getting a title or something. At least by being old, it's a common knowledge or common sense that you'll be appreciated or respected or recognized just by being older. So I think those three things have kind of supported the culture of humility and whatnot. But I think what's changed a lot in recent times is that these three things are kind of breaking down to some extent. You might sometimes have people who don't always show the appreciation because they feel that it's inauthentic, or because part of that showing appreciation to everyone else besides yourself is a very operational routine, and so people may skip out on it now, or may not follow through with it as much enthusiasm, and so it just becomes hollow. And I think that is kind of taking away even more from people feeling appreciated and leaving even more people out. Also, in regards to the titles and titles that are being put on people for their accomplishments, I think to some extent there are just too many titles now, or just too many people maybe, especially because there are more older people in Japan than younger people. So, and everyone wants to get a title or be appreciated. So I feel like it's losing meaning sometimes, and I think that the younger generation also are kind of noticing these. So those with titles don't feel as appreciated for their title, which kind of, again, breaks down the system a little bit more. And finally, similarly, the whole seniority and being respected for being old, I feel that that is also kind of breaking down just everywhere in the world too. But just because you're old doesn't mean you should be respected per se. You kind of have to show some sort of show a sign that at least doesn't make people feel like you don't deserve it. Just if you're just gonna sit back and order people just because you're older, that's not gonna translate to the younger generation, and then you're just gonna feel even more left out. And I think that's also kind of happening too, especially for many of the older generation people who kind of miss out on the first two categories, and now they're even missing out on this third. And so I think that's where I've been noticing a lot more neediness in people, both in the company sometimes, but a lot of it outside too. And it's just something I've been thinking about. I don't know what the answer is or anything. It's just my observations and thoughts. So I guess I'll have to kind of think about how to make people feel appreciated, I guess, in the modern day, kind of where it's changing more rapidly. Anyways, thanks for listening. Those were my thoughts, and I'll catch you guys up again another time. Ciao.